Welcome back, everyone, to our first episode of our Week 2 recap for the NFL. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'm just going to get right into it. So, today I'm really going to just be talking about the Monday night games and mainly the Browns versus Steelers games that just turned off and just finished up. And before I say anything, Steelers won, but Nick Chubb went down with a pretty tough injury, and it looked pretty bad. I saw the extended replay of it, and it looks like he either broke his leg or, had some type of dislocation with his knee, because his knee, it was bad. So prayers to Nick Chubb. Hopefully, he has a speedy recovery, and hopefully this won't affect, his future game, and he can still, when he comes back, he'll still be able to continue being the top running back in the league and perform at a high level. But speaking of the Nick Chubb injury, that you can immediately when it happened, you can tell, obviously, just, how that affected the players, kind of emotionally at first, but from just a strategic standpoint, you can see that the Browns offense completely changed. They went from, running first on first and second down and trying to either get first downs or get it to like third and short, so Deshaun wouldn't have to do too much, throw quick little routes, quick passes, and get it out of his hands quickly. But you can see just from a strategic standpoint that the game plan changed, and throughout the course, but with the game plan changing, I'll say this: with the game plan changing, Deshaun Watson is getting $230 million. He has a $230 million contract, and I feel like if Deshaun is who his contract says he is, and if Deshaun is who we think he could be coming back from his suspension and everything, that shouldn't be too much of a big problem. You shouldn't be, concerned, because if we expecting Deshaun to be a great performer and go out there and ball, we shouldn't be too worried, and we should be confident that he can get the job done. But he didn't, and to me, it's looking like a big problem. Now, in week 1 against the Bengals, Deshaun, he didn't play well either. I'm going off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure he went 14 for 29 of throwing, not even barely 50% completion percentage, and really it was just the defense that did a lot of work and just stopped the Bengals from scoring. It was defense in the running game. And naturally, that's what the Browns' game plan should be each and every week, but Deshaun shouldn't be playing as bad as he has been playing and looking as mediocre as he's been. Now tonight, this was an extremely winnable game. This was a game that the Browns should have won, if I'm being all honesty, because just how well their defense played. Their defense only gave up one touchdown. They only gave up one touchdown on just a crazy kind of slant that George Pickens caught, and he took it to the house for, I'm pretty sure it was like 40, 50 something yards, something like that. So they only gave up one touchdown, and throughout the rest of the game, they played great defense. They played great defense, and that was a game that you should have won, and you should have rewarded your defense by playing well and getting points on the board, because they held Kenny Pickett to 50% completion, 15 for 30. They got to him a lot of times. They sacked him a lot. They did a good job on maintaining the run with Najee Harris. They didn't let up any big plays per se. And if I'm being honest, Deshaun Watson lost them this game, if I'm being honest. Obviously, Nick Chubb going out with an injury played a huge part, but when it goes into Deshaun Watson's hands, you should feel comfortable with him playing and playing well, but he lost them this game. The first play in the game, interception, pick 6, and then he had another fumble later on in the game that was a scoop and score for TJ Watt, and he scored for a touchdown. He brought it back for 6. So as an offense, your defense only gives up one touchdown, so really only gives up 7 points. But as an offense, you allow 14 points to go up on the board, and that's 21 points right there. And that shouldn't be happening. That should not be happening, because Deshaun, you just got to be better. I'm sorry, but Deshaun Watson just has to be better. Later on, when the interviews come out, I want to see what he says, and I want to see, what everyone says on the Brown side of things, when it comes to the post-game press and stuff like that. But Deshaun just has to be better, if I'm being honest. He has to be better if he wants to continue to win, because the Browns, to me, are a team that's capable of winning a lot of games. I feel like they are capable just with how good their defense is and how great their run game is. Now, obviously, with Nick Chubb out, like I said, that's going to change a lot. But I still feel like you should be confident in Deshaun Watson going out there and performing to a compatible level to not lose you games. Because with the defense playing as well as they do, and as long as Deshaun doesn't mess it up, I feel like they should have won that game, and they can win much more games with that formula. But Deshaun hasn't shown me anything to me to say that he's can do that for them. And looking over at the Steelers side, congratulations to the Steelers. A big win. A great win. Tied up, going 1-1 on the season right now, and kind of foregoing a bad start by winning this game. But I will say that the Steelers was a team that I was looking forward to seeing. Not only their defense, but also just I felt like with the upcoming star receiver George Pickens, who I feel like can be one of the top receivers in the league. And I was looking forward to see, the steps Kenny Pickett took in order to, be a better quarterback and, finally start to come to form. But I know it's his second year, but right now it's just not looking like they'll go too many games. And I'm not going to count Mike Tomlin out because he's never had a losing season. But it's just, I'm not going to say he's going to have a losing season this year, but when it comes to making the playoffs and making a run in the playoffs and making a postseason run, it's seeming hard just because Kenny Pickett just doesn't seem ready to just really enhance this offense, because he just didn't play well today. The defense saved him. He only scored 1 touchdown, and the defense gave him 14 points, but he only scored 1 touchdown. He went 15 for 30 on passing, and it just wasn't that much of an impressive performance. And the only touchdown he had was a real slant route that George Pickens just happened to take to the house. So, it's hard to describe it and just, figure out everything that the Steelers are going to do, because I feel like they have a lot of work to do on the offensive end. I feel like with Nick Chubb going out, that did, put the pressure off of their defense a little bit and didn't allow them to have to, match up so much, from a scoring standpoint. But, it's not looking too good for either teams, if I'm being honest. The Browns being that Deshaun just hasn't been as impressive and just isn't looking impressive or showing any real, consistency in being a great quarterback that they paid him to be. And it doesn't look like Kenny Pickett has, reached a certain level. I'm not going to say he's trash, but I don't think Kenny Pickett has reached the level yet to where he can really take this Steelers offense to a somewhat above average level and, do something with it. So, it's going to be interesting to see. Now for the other game, Saints versus Panthers. It was a close game. It was a very low scoring game. And in all honesty, I will have to go back and watch the rest of that game later on tonight just to, refresh my memory on it. And, coming into on tomorrow's video, I'll have a better opinion on it. But, Bryce Young, he looks to be a pretty decent, and he looks to, he doesn't seem trash. He looks to be, somewhat ready. But the offensive line is kind of non-existent because he gets pressured way too many times. And, the defense held up today, but he gets pressured way too many times for a quarterback his size and for a quarterback as young as he is. And, it's hard for young quarterbacks to handle pressure like that consistently. But overall, I do think Bryce will be all right going down the line and going into the future of his career, as long as they, get some more pieces around him and fix up his offensive line. And for the Saints, they are 2-0, but, they don't seem that good. Their defense, their Saints always have a pretty good defense, but, with Derek Carr, no touchdowns and 1 pick, it's gonna be kind of interesting to see how this play out, because I don't believe the Saints are that good, but I also feel like they are capable of making the playoffs just because of the division they're in. But I would have to see how they match up against the Buccaneers, because I feel like it's really going to come that division is going to come down to the Saints and the Buccaneers, and whoever wins the games, whoever has the most wins and whoever has the tiebreaker or whatnot. But that's my initial reaction, quick little initial reaction to to these Monday night games. Coming tomorrow, you will have my more of a recap of Sunday's games and also Thursday night's games. So stay tuned for that. Excuse me, but I have nothing else to say right now. My name is Ojari Brown. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Y'all have a good night.